Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to create a look using these two Blend Bunny palettes, and I wanted to do a Halloween look, but unfortunately I cannot draw, so we are going to use these stickers and try to do a little Halloween hack. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Heather Eaglin. I love all things makeup, especially colorful makeup and indie brands. If you love those things too, I really hope you will subscribe and click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. And let's go ahead and jump into today's video. As I already mentioned, today I'm going to be creating these looks with my Surge and Primal Blend Bunny Cosmetics palette, along with these little stickers I got from the Dollar Tree, I think, and little nail gems that I got off Amazon. I just used them for my face. I believe the Surge palette from Blend Bunny is being discontinued, but you can still get it. However, the Primal palette is discontinued and you can no longer get it, but you could pretty much just use any kind of rainbow palette you have, even if that means you have to pick through several palettes to get the look that I created. I'm also going to be using these stickers. I am pretty sure I got them from the Dollar Tree. Now I'm picking up the matte orange shade called Untamed in the Primal palette, and I'm doing that with a Moda small shader brush, and I'm just pressing that into my crease. I took this eye look up a little further than I normally do. I was trying to get the eyeshadow up higher than the bats so that you could see them fully. Now I'm using a ColourPop E25, and with that I'm picking up the shade Exotic in the Primal palette. It is kind of like a magenta purple shade, and I'm just placing that in my outer corner. I'm going to use this as kind of like a transition shade for this eye look. And now I'm just using the edge of that brush to just kind of blend out the edges a little bit, just to make it a little smoother. And now I'm going back in with that Moda brush, and I'm just using the pigment that's on it, and I'm trying to blend that orange into the purple. Now I'm using this Ace Beauty large blending brush, and I'm just using that to blend out the outer corner. There's no product on it. I'm just trying to get it smoother, and I'm trying to also get it up higher towards that bat. Now I'm just going back to that ColourPop E25 brush, and I'm going into the deeper purple. It's called Instinct, and I'm just building that up in my crease to the level of intensity that I'm looking for. I really love the Blend Bunny eyeshadow formula. They're very pigmented, but I do have a little bit harder time blending with them than I do like my other favorites. I don't think they're difficult or anything like impossible to blend, but they are a harder formula for me to work with, but that simply could just be I'm not used to working with them. Now I'm going into the Surge palette, and I'm going into the shade Maybe. And for that, I am using a Sigma E45 Max. It says it's a small tapered blending, but that's a massive brush in my opinion, but it's definitely working. The Maybe shade is a magenta. It's very beautiful and rich in pigment. And now I'm going back into the Primal palette, and I'm picking up the shade Instinct. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm basically just trying to get the eyeshadow up higher, up past that top bat wing, so that you can see the whole bat when I go to pull the sticker off at the end. Now I'm using my Singe Beauty EO2, and I'm going back into the Surge palette, and I'm grabbing the shade Covet, which is a deep purple. It's very pretty. And I'm just using that to try to blend out the shade Instinct from the Primal palette, which is kind of a deeper purple. And those two purples are kind of different tones. The one from the Surge palette is brighter, even though it's dark, which that is a palette with neons. and the other one is a more like true purple shade. Now I'm going back with that Sigma E45 Max, and I'm going into the shade Stay in the Search palette, and I'm just kind of blending those colors in together. Now I'm going back to my Singe Beauty EO2, and I'm going into the Search palette, into the shade Pulse, and I'm just kind of placing that around that deeper color, but I'm also trying to get it up around the bat. I will say, like, I've been trying this Search palette for quite some time now, and I just don't like these neon shades at all that are in this palette. I tried to use them again, but for me, I cannot get them to stick to my eye, and I tried using them to blend out instead of like using them as a base color. Here I even tried to use the yellow shade Shocked in my inner corner, and it looked really patchy. You will see later I go back in with the white from the Primal palette and try to make it look better, but I just don't like those neons at all. And because of that, I feel like maybe it's a good idea they discontinued this palette, because for me, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but in my case, the neons were the whole reason I bought the palette. These are the only neons I have, so I don't know if they're all that way. I just know that I cannot work with these, and maybe it's my skill level or whatever, but yeah, I just don't like them at all. But having said that, I don't have any other issues with the other palettes I own from her. I have this palette and I have the 80s palette. I don't remember the name. Sugar and Grunge, I believe. And I really loved that palette. That is my favorite palette from the brand. Oh, and my bad. It's the 90s palette. I don't know why I said the 80s, but yeah, I really love that one and I highly recommend it. And even though these palettes aren't available, which actually I think the Surge one is, um, I highly recommend the other ones, especially the neutral ones, because the Sugar and Grunge is kind of neutral, and I like that matte formula in it better. A moment ago, I used the shade Nocturnal from the Primal palette, and I just put that in my outer corner with a small ColourPop pencil brush. And then I went in and I used my Singe Beauty EO5 small blending brush, and I just blended that into the other shades in the crease. Now I'm using an Ace Beauty pencil brush, and I went into the Search palette and picked up the neon green shade Chemistry, and I put that in my inner corner. See, I like really tried to make these work, but it is what it is. Not everything is meant to be for everyone, you know? Now I'm using a Ace Beauty small shader brush, and I'm going into the Primal palette, and I'm using the shade Poisonous. I love this row in this palette so much. They really are like such beautiful inky shades. I wish I wouldn't have used it for this look, because in doing so, I accidentally turned a Halloween look into a rainbow eye. At this point, I honestly don't think I can help myself. But I really wish I wouldn't have done that. But the shade is freaking gorgeous, and I had no issues working with it. I haven't had issues with the mattes at all since I've gotten used to their formula. It's just them neon shades. But as for the mattes and the shimmers, I really do enjoy their formula. But I'm just using this small shader brush from Ace Beauty, and I'm blending that shade out. And now I'm going in to that shade called Ink. And for that, I am using a small shader brush from Odin's Eye, and I'm just pressing and swiping that shade Ink up into my lower lash line and trying to just get some depth in there. And this is the first moment that I screwed up. I'm using another small shading brush from that Ace Beauty set, and I went into the neon blue shade called Energy, and this is the shade that turned this whole look into a rainbow eye. I should not have done it. I mean, it was still a beautiful look, but it wasn't what I was going for. I'm like Dory off of Finding Nemo when I look at bright eyeshadows and I'm like, oh, it's shiny, and then I get completely distracted. But yeah, oh well, you know, it was still pretty in the end. But now I'm just using my NYX glitter glue and I'm just prepping my lid for the shimmer shades. Now I'm going back into the Primal palette and I'm picking up the shade Pheromone, and I'm using a BH Cosmetics packing brush. It's from the Say It collection. I found these at TJ Maxx and I got them like really cheap, and I think they're pretty good brushes. They're not bad at all. I like them a lot better than I do them Ace Beauté orange handled brushes. But I'm just placing the Pheromone shade in my outer part of my lid. And now I'm using the same brush. I just wiped it off with my Sigma Switch. And I'm using the shade Potent in the Primal palette. And I'm just putting that in the first half of my lid. And I'm going to try to blend it into the Pheromone shade a little bit as well. I didn't have a shimmer in either of these palettes that I wanted to use in my inner corner. So for that, I went into my Blend Bunny Noctilucent palette. And I picked up the shade Enlighten with a BH Cosmetics pencil brush. And I just put that in my inner corner. And I brushed it into the orange shade called Potent from the Primal palette. And I really liked how it brightened the look up. But man, I swear this so turned into a rainbow eye. Very close. Here is the finished eye look on one eye before I take the stickers off. I will tell you, the sticker that I put in my inner corner, it was too small and you couldn't really see what it was. So I ended up having to go back over it with the shadow colors that I used and just filling it in because it just looked like I skipped eyeshadow and like missed a spot. But the bigger one on the outer corner really looks cute, and I thought it was a good idea. I'm glad I tried it. I do have some stencils that are from Wet n Wild that I really want to try, and I plan on doing that for another video. I think they might work out better than the stickers did because I think the stickers might have been a little bit too small. It would be a lot easier if I just knew how to draw on my face. I can draw pretty well on paper, but I think I need practice for it on my face. Now, after this, I tried to color the bat black, and I ended up screwing it up. So now I just have the one on the opposite side that you guys seen. Yeah, I told you I can't draw on my face. It ended up looking like a blob. And I kind of think it's funny because from the side, to me, it looks like a squirrel. But hey, up close, you can tell what it is. But that was the finished look. I think it turned out beautifully. I just wish it wasn't a rainbow look. For my lip combo, I used a CoverGirl lipstick in the shade Orange AF. And I used my Peach Amber and Cool Brown ABH lip liners, and I really love those so much. I also used my Benefit Butterfly blush, which is one of my favorites in my collection, but I also used it with the Scooby-Doo blush from the last Scooby-Doo collection, and my highlight is the Blend Bunny Noctilucent highlighter, and I used the shade Enlightened, and this is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I had so much fun filming it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like it down below, and if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can be notified of all my future uploads. And until next time, bye!